You're welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching Business Incorporated on Channels Television. Australia's economy contracted by 0.5% in September, and in 5 years of uninterrupted growth. The slowdown is mainly attributed to cutbacks in spending by businesses, consumers and the government. This is the first shrinkage in the economy since early 2011. The mining boom and high demand for Australia's commodities have kept the economy recession-free for the past 25 years. The Australian dollar fell by half a US cent after the data to 0.742. Some analysts are optimistic, however, that the economy will pick up in the nearest future. Earlier this week, the nation's central bank, the Reserve Bank of Australia, kept its key lending rate on hold at a record low of 1.5%. The RBA said that it was still assessing the impacts from rate cuts in May and August this year. And U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and the chief executive of Japan's SoftBank Group have announced a $50 billion investment in U.S. startups that they say will create 50,000 jobs.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
we are going to invest $50 billion into U.S. and commit to create 50,000 new jobs. We invest into the new startup companies in the United States. I just came to celebrate his new job, right? And we were talking about it, and then I said I would like to celebrate his presidential job and commit, because he would do a lot of deregulation. I said this is great. United States, U.S. will become great again.
And 6 weeks before it takes office, President-elect Donald Trump wants to cancel orders for new planes to carry the American president. Mr. Trump tweeted, a quote, Boeing is building a brand new 747 Air Force One for future presidents, but costs are out of control. More than $4 billion cancel orders, end of quote. As President and Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump will have the power to cancel the contracts for the new planes. If it goes through, it could cost the U.S. taxpayer even more as the new president tries to save money. The U.S. government has already signed a contract with Boeing for $170 million with additional funding earmarked for the two new planes. Boeing shares fell more than 1% after the president-elect tweet.
In terms of pricing, the dealer is an independent legal person who has the right of freely fixing prices. Medtronic is a leader in the medical equipment supply, and dealers have a strong dependency on it, and it has made full use of this relative advantage to control the prices of the dealers. Consumers have been deprived of their right of choice and have to pay what has been asked. This is the biggest problem in the medical equipment supply we have found in our investigation and study. There is no adequate competition.
The U.S.-based medical device company Medtronic Shanghai was fined 118.5 million yuan, that's $17.2 million for price monopoly, according to the website of the National Development and Reform Commission. The Anti-Monopoly Bureau of NDRC discovered that Medtronic has reached and carried out a series of monopoly agreements with its online dealers and initial distributors through various ways of fixing, reselling, bidding, and the minimum sale prices of its medical equipment. The penalty volume equals to 4% of the sales of the products sold in 2015, based on the antitrust law. The African states must look to their own talents and work more closely together if the continent is to progress. Now, this is according to Algeria's Prime Minister while speaking with business leaders at an Algiers investment forum.
More than 800 business leaders from 40 African countries are attending an investment forum in Algiers as part of moves to deepen economic ties across the continent. In a keynote speech, Algerian Prime Minister Abdoumalek Selal told the African Investment and Business Forum the continent had to rely on its own ingenuity and skills in order to improve Africans' lives. The three-day meeting, WAS, attended by the World Bank and major financial institutions from Africa and Arab world. Sessions focused on developing the continent's energy, investment finance, infrastructure, agriculture, and agribusiness sectors. Host Algeria in July has already moved to boost its business environment. In July, Algeria passed a new law offering tax breaks and cuts to bureaucracy as part of efforts to attract funds to its non-oil sector. Algeria wants to diversify away from oil and gas, which provides 60% of state budget funds, as oil is currently trading at around half the level of mid-2014. Among those attending the forum was Taïb Ezraimi, Chief Executive Officer of Agribusiness Group, SIM.
The aim of our participation is to forge business relationships with our African friends and brothers. Our African brothers will, I think, be listening, and we will be listening to their needs because we have exhibited our products and we're expecting a great deal from this forum, from this meeting.
Other participants said they were open to new opportunities across the continent and aimed to deepen existing ties wherever possible.
And Zambia Finance Minister Felix Mutati says that there are plans to refinance Eurobonds totaling around $2.8 billion that it issued between 2012 and 2015. According to Mr. Mutati, the strategy for the Eurobonds next year is refinancing. The country wants to refinance the Eurobonds and get longer dated bonds at a bit of lower cost so that the country can minimize its debt. Mr. Mutati says that the equivalent of 19% of Zambia's gross domestic product was being used to service debts. Zambia issued a 750 million Eurobond in 2012, followed by another amounting to $1 billion in 2014 and another worth $1.25 billion last year, mainly for infrastructure projects. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Business Incorporated. Thank you for being a part of the program. I am Bolaji Akiwale.